And now it is time for How to Move Like a Boss by Damon Dash. In this video, he will show the audience what it really looks like to move like a boss. Let's tune in and pay attention. You know, one topic that I really felt the need to touch on today is the idea of how a boss moves, and even on a more personal level, how a boss moves in his everyday life. And you know, one thing that I've been learning is that most people aren't bosses because their movements aren't bossy. So if you wake up in the morning panicking and sweating bullets because you feel like you're late or that you need to be somewhere at a particular time, probably work or probably a job, then I hate to break it to you, but you're not a boss. You see, when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to worry about rushing out the door to get to work with my shirt wrinkled and my tie not tied right, wasting coffee on myself as I head to my job. I don't have to punch a clock when I get to work. As a matter of fact, when I get to work, not only do I not have to punch a clock or fill out a time card because I own the building. Trust me, if you ever see me having to punch a clock at work, it's not because I have to clock in. It's because the time is wrong. Because my PA knows that when the time changes, she has to set my clock appropriately. And trust me, I didn't get my knuckles proper from punching clocks. You see, the way that I move as a boss, time is relative to me. So, you know, an average employee, if he doesn't have money at a given time, one might say that he's broke, but for me, it's just a simple timing issue. Because as a businessman, I'd never hold cash because I'm always having to buy inventory. Just like on the block, sometimes you had to re-up, but before the other money came in, you might have had to re-up twice. It's the same way with holding inventory. Inventory like work, you gotta put it out on the streets. Then I'ma flip and I'ma flip. But trust me, if I ever don't have money at a particular time, there's gonna be some money coming around the corner somewhere. It's just a Harlem thing. You see, the thing is, in Harlem, we were taught to kill the food that we eat every day. I'm like a hunter-gatherer. And to the listeners out there, if you ever wanted to know how a boss moves, just watch the way that I move and watch closely. Because there's something about the way that a boss moves that it rubs off on other people to the point that they actually want to be bosses themselves. But the big problem is that there is only one Dame Dash. And although it might sound good to y'all to have a world full of Dame Dashes out there that you all can learn from, the fact of the matter is my movements are hard to replicate, even for myself. My work ethic, my passion, my charm, my good looks, all I attribute a large part to Harlem. But most people don't know, but in Harlem, there's a code of ethics on how to move like a boss. From the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you dress. These are all things that a person would learn coming from Harlem, so I don't expect the rest of the world to catch up so soon or to comprehend boss movements. You see, that's one of the things that I always felt, secure in the fact, coming from Harlem, is I was always secure in the fact that nobody was ever cooler than me. So back in the days at Def Jam, when nerds would try to close the doors in my face, I would laugh at them because they weren't a boss. They don't even own the doors of the offices in which they close. Like I'm serious, like I actually witnessed it. I would actually witness nerds fronting as bosses, not putting up their own money, supervisors of somebody else's money, talking down on people, closing doors in their faces, but they don't even own the door. And I would laugh at them, and they'll get mad at me, but I'll tell them, you don't own the office, you don't own the door. You don't even own the hinge. You don't even own the hinge of the door you just closed. So when people ask me how I felt back in the days at Def Jam when nerds would try to close doors that they didn't own in my face, Rockefeller, that's how I felt about it. Rockefeller. And then from there, I started putting the people around me on game, and I started teaching them how to make money and move like bosses. I mean, isn't that the math? Hold up, everybody. This is my OG Daniel. This my OG Daniel out of Harlem. He got a real deep voice. Let him speak.
Listen up. I want to say something. Just for the record. When you look at my man Dame and all the trials and the tribulations that he's had to go through, and for him to have made all the people around him successful, doesn't that mean something? So, I just wanted to say that.
What can I say? That's my OG Daniel right there. From Harlem. You hear that voice? That's a Harlem voice. Like serious, I keep a OG Daniel with me at all times. Like the octave of that voice. Do you know how many confrontations have been stopped due to how deep his voice was? Like seriously, it's like some stuff out of the Matrix or something. Like people will pull and draw their weapons, and OG Daniel will just like say Harlem. And like the tone of his voice, he'll just make the bullets drop to the ground. OG Daniel, hit that note, that Harlem note one more time for me.
Harlem.
That's good. Hit it. One more time for me. One more.
Harlem.
I mean, what can I say? Isn't that the math? But guys, I want to end this on a positive note for all of those who aspire to move like a boss. The first thing that I would argue that you should start doing is to slow down and stop moving. Because if you're not moving like a boss already, that means you're moving in the opposite direction. That means you're running away from being a boss. So just stop moving and start thinking. Start strategizing. Become independent. Because all of these movements that you're doing is not helping your evolution towards becoming a boss. You know, it's this joke I tell, you know, it's kind of like when the police shows up and kicks your door down. When he points his gun, what does he say? He says, freeze. You know why? Because that's your boss. And if you don't think so, put your hands down. We'll see how you move like a boss then. But guys, the reality is a lot of people will never be bosses, and they should not even try. And take it from a boss. I admire the fact that you would want to finally step up to the plate and put your knuckle game to the test and try to be independent for once. Because you decided that you were going to be a man and that you wanted to try to eat the food that you kill every day. But take it from somebody who's a true hunter-gatherer who eats the food that he kills every day. If you don't get out here and you don't boss up, you will starve out here. And you will never know what it's like to move like a boss.
I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to How to Move Like a Boss. Stay safe. Till next time. Goodbye.